this is CherryEnchantress, and this is your June reading. So if you follow me regularly, you may have noticed I've been not as present on videos, and it's just because just been a lot of family stuff happening. So thank you for your patience and your prayers, and let's get busy with this June reading. So we have 3 piles here: pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Pile 1 is marked by this cute little turtle and pile 2 is a I think it's actually a cherry quartz elephant, my favorite animal besides cats. And this one is called the desert rose. So I don't know, just jumped out at me, told me, hey, pick me. All right, so we're gonna look into love, of course, because I'm the romantic fairy. We're going to look into anything that just comes out as far as health and career and life path and your purpose and fun and travel and things like that, to see what's the main energy for your month. And so if it resonates, great, go with it. If it doesn't resonate, it means you might need to pick a different pile, or you know, there's some things that come into the future that you, of course, you don't know it's heading your way. So a lot of times you may wonder, why, I don't know about that, and then suddenly it appears in your life. So, and if it's something that you want to come towards you, then this reading can help manifest it towards you. All right, so let's close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your eyes, release through your mouth. As you release, feel that air just make your chest sink in, and then you're feeling like really connected with your soul as your soul reaches out to the pile that's calling you. Of course, you can pick more than one pile and any order you like to get a full message. And you might just like to go consecutively 1 through 3, but any way you choose is the right way. So let's begin. There's pile number 1 with this cute little turtle. I like the little turtle. I got a little turtle tattoo. And so before we start with this reading, I'm going to get a message from the Seasons of the Witch, the Litha Oracle, which is all about the summer solstice, which is coming up in June. So let's see what your summer solstice message is. It'll be real interesting how it compares to the pile. The pile is pre-shuffled just to make it quick and easy, but sometimes I like to do one like live shuffle. Okay, you have rot and decay, but don't take this as something negative, because it really is a good explanation on how is this a good time for decluttering. All right, so if you have things that you need to clear out, it's real important to focus on that. For example, like I'll give you my example. I mean, it's one thing to have a very clean and tidy house, but have you checked your attic lately? Like there's things that we don't see, so we don't take care of it right away because it's out of sight, out of mind. So I feel like this is kind of giving me an energy to don't ignore the things that are out of sight. Just because they're out of sight doesn't mean they're not something that can affect your overall energy in your home, in your life, or whatever. The key words here are cycles of life and death, sacrifice for the greater good, kind of like a type of like when you blend 2 materials together, 2 separate things that are worthy just on their own, but when you blend them together, you create something even more interesting or just different, but it could actually be better and more elevated than just having the 2 separate things exist separately as in their own forms. Like for example, if you had, say, some gold jewelry and you melted it down just into like a liquid form, and then somebody was able to pour that liquid into a different mold, into a different shape or something. So you sacrifice the form that it was before to create a new form, something like that. So anyway, and then there's other things that could be festering in the shadows. And maybe it's ready for life. Maybe it's ready to just get some sunlight or get cleared away. Flowers can't bloom forever, and even the summer experiences death, decay, and the need to sacrifice small parts for the health of the whole. It may seem like a waste on the surface, but Mother Nature knows what she's doing, and nothing dies in vain. Some fruits and vegetables will fall to the ground and rot, their sacrifice offering nourishment that makes for the most fertile soil. The most and you know what? The more fruitful your life is, the more you have to sacrifice. With abundance also comes the need to shed what is weighing you down. Has, you know, has this been something that you've forgotten? Um, or maybe it was something that just wasn't sweet enough or right enough for harvest. Rot and decay reminds you that abundance doesn't mean you need to have everything, for that would no longer be abundance, but greed, right? So it means that you have to have that you have more than enough already, and for just for the way you live. And if you're carrying too much, this is a sign to leave something behind in service of the greater good. So consider how you may be spreading yourself too thin as well. Focus on things that you aren't passionate about, or holding on to ideas that are no longer facilitating your growth. Don't allow the need for more to weigh you down and fear that your good favor will run out, or that there won't be another chance. There'll always be another season of harvest. And I notice this in certain things, that like certain games or things that I play. Sometimes we have the need like for immediate gratification. And so sometimes you have to just think to yourself, this can wait too. This can wait. I don't have to like buy this right now. I can wait on it, So there could be something to that respect in a financial way too. And as far as a spiritual energy way too, clearing things out, but in a financial way, I think too, in order, this was a good key that my brother told me a long time ago. He said, I never buy anything and bring anything new into my house until I clear something old away. And I like that philosophy very much. It goes really well with the way I like to live. And it's very different than the way I was raised. I had kind of a hoarder person that liked to have things, and then sometimes things were forgotten, and then new stuff was piled on this old stuff, and the old stuff could have been just cleaned away. So I don't know if you're dealing with that, or if you in your life or with somebody else. It could be just metaphorically, or it could be literally your environment needs a little bit of reassessing. But definitely maybe go with the whole don't buy anything new until you clear something out philosophy. That might be helpful at this time. And the word I was looking for was crucible. It's like a sacrifice machine. Okay, anyway, let's go on to these other cards now. So your tarot, we have 3 cards. We have the 5 of Summer. Trust that there is a reason for everything that happens. Remove yourself from the negative emotion of others, focusing on that which frightens or worries you. And 8 of Summer, the desire for more meaningful life, realizing that it's time to move on, choosing to make major life changes. And King of Summer, honorable, devoted, mature, warm-hearted, a romantic partner you can trust, excellent advice that comes from the heart, getting involved with a cultural or creative endeavor. So this feels like somebody out there may or a few of you out there may have been in a connection with somebody, and maybe that connection fell apart, or something happened with the connection, a distancing, a change of some sort, um, and there was a reason for that, and the reason has to do with some kind of spiritual path that you're on, or some kind of lesson, or some kind of rites of passage. But I feel like still the ultimate goal is, whether this is the person or a new person, there is a king of summer coming into your life, somebody that is honorable, devoted, mature, and warm-hearted. This is somebody that you can trust and who is there for you and will be a part of your life. So we do have a romantic fairy card. Let's see what. Okay, so your love language is the physical touch. A tender touch means so much. This is very important. If you are lacking in physical touch, that is a necessity for you, because that is your love language. Or it could be your person's love language, or this could be you. And so, so the physical touch is going to be what heals things. Now, I don't always recommend using that as a tool, as the physical connection, but I feel like for a lot of you in this case, it's important, especially if you've been in a distant situation of some sort. And if it's been emotional distance or physical distance, I feel like the physical touch will be a great connector and a healer. All right. So let's see what your fairy message has to say. Assertiveness. Stand up for your beliefs and only say yes if you really want to. So, in other words, you don't get pressured into a situation, but you do it because you really want to. Whatever that situation may be, whether it's in love, in business, or in any area of your life, June is going to be a month for you to stand your ground and be assertive. And your final card is from the Faery Forecast, and you have Litha, which is the summer solstice. So something very important could be happening on the summer solstice, which is usually around the 21st, like June 21st. And let's see, for Litha, we have that it's that time of year that is called the Festival of Fairies, and it's basically just a fun time. It's joy in the sun. It's pleasure. It's connecting with people. I feel like this card is on the top of this deck, and this is also calling to you. And I feel like after you go through this bit of journey, this is where you're going to be. So you may start off the summer with a bit of that feeling like you have to clear something away. But once you do, I feel like you're attracting the heirloom tomatoes. So this is entering into depths of intimacy where the seeds of your desires will be nourished. And I feel like that's where you're headed. So the reason why I'm pulling an extra Litha card is because you got the Litha card, and I feel like you deserve it. Pile 1. And this card is all about passion and lust and love. And heirloom tomatoes bring promise of new romance for love seekers and renewed passions in existing relationships. It goes beyond anything physical, although I think the physical is part of this. But it's entering also into a depth of intimacy that's only accomplished by deeper understanding of each other. Lust is born out of suggestive glances, feathery touches, and whisper kisses, and teasing. And all of that builds up this feeling of something to come that's more sensual. And if you're not experiencing this now, in other words, I feel like you may start off the month in sort of a clearing energy. I feel like it's something that could come towards you definitely by Litha, by mid-month or the 21st. And so, and interestingly enough, in the month of June, we go from Gemini to Cancer. So it could be when we move into Cancer season. So even, and if things start to move along and you still don't have any clues who this could be or where this is coming from, or you're with a person and it doesn't seem to get deeper or more intimate, then consider seeking fresh ways to introduce more play into your relationship. You know, don't just, when you get readings like this, it's sort of interactive. It's not just sitting around waiting for this stuff to come to you, but sometimes it's seeking it a little bit too. So go out there and experience love as a lover. Make time for your passions. Act on your lust, or buy something exciting, or enjoy a certain location and indulge in yourself, and indulge in and give yourself affection. Now I know that kind of goes contrary to the Rotten Decay card, because this was about being careful about things that you buy, possibly. It just depends on the person, but I feel like you may start off this way, because before you bring anything new into your life, you definitely have to clear the old things out. But once you do, the way your life flourishes and gets filled with beautiful, sensual, cozy, lovey-dovey stuff will be quite amazing. And it'll be because you've made the perfect invitation for it. All right, let's see what your charms have to say. You know, I was gonna do, yeah, I'll do these. I'm tempted to do, you know what, I'm going to do the other charms. All right. Oop, are you okay down there? Look at those two guys. You've got the masculine and feminine unicorn. So you two are divine. You're a divine match, perfect for each other. Look at all this happiness coming through, hugs coming through, a magic carpet ride. That could be some travel, but that also represents like excitement and magic. And then you have Aladdin, so that's a double sign to me that you could be traveling, or you could be going on a very fun, adventurous date with somebody. Interesting, we have the video camera, so it could feel like you're in the public eye somehow. It could represent social media. It could represent somebody being like an influencer or a filmographer, or somebody that deals with, you know, the camera works. The behind the scenes are also in front of you. So somebody could be like a reporter who's in front of the camera, and then somebody could be the one that's holding the camera. But you make a perfect couple, because it takes somebody to hold the camera and another person to be in the front of the camera. Not everybody feels confident enough to be in front of the camera, and not everybody's savvy and technical enough to be the one running the show behind the camera. But maybe this is a match that you're going to be finding this month. Somebody who will help you be your counterpart. Exactly, your counterpart. Who knew that this big black box was so romantic? It represents somebody's counterpart. Well, anyway, I hope you like that. Thumbs up if you like it. If you want, you go ahead and check out the other piles. Comment below and subscribe if you're new. And if you're not new, thank you for coming back, and thank you everybody so much for having patience with me. And feel free to let me know what other kind of readings you like. I may have some time on my hands where I can do this more often, but I'm just decided this week I needed to really adjust my energy and be ready and prepared for you. I do feel like I might be able to go live tonight, and so cross these fingers I'll be able to do that. And I hope to see you later, or at the next pile, or both. All right, moving on. And here's pile number 2 with the cute little elephant, which is cherry quartz. So cute. All right, before we do this, go into this pile, we're going to take from the Seasons of the Witch Litha Oracle first. I'm going to do a nice live shuffle of this lovely deck. Litha is the season celebration of summer solstice. And so this deck is all about summer solstice and summer stuff. So definitely June we'll have our summer solstice, which is usually around the 21st. If you're in the northern hemisphere, which most of you are, but if you're not, then apologies. Take the messages anyway for the energy that they provide. Okay, so we have Sun Tea. She kind of came out on top. Alrighty. Sun Tea, very sweet. And this is saying slow, intentional, delicious, interweaving with life holds more magic than you think. So the keywords here are slow, magic, calm living, and simplicity. Sun Tea is slow magic in the most delicious way possible. Just fill a mason jar with fruit and herbs and let the sun gently extract precious nutrients. It's the easiest form of folk healing, a wonderful way to nourish your body and mind. Whether you're doing it for physical or spiritual reasons, sometimes the biggest magic, with a K, is found in the smallest acts of bliss. Simplify, simplify, simplify. You definitely could be connected with pile 1. I'm feeling it already. Less is more when pulling the Sun Tea card, and don't make things harder than they need to be by introducing too many options, too many steps, or too many people. In a world where everything is maxed out and amplified, this card advises you to keep things as uncomplicated as possible. Rather than focusing on doing more, scale back and do less really well. A chocolate cookie with brown butter, slowly aged whiskey, basil, and artisanal sea salt, or tea salt. Sounds lovely, but so does a good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookie baked to perfection. Adding extra layers is fine when the foundation is good, but otherwise it's just busy mess that's all bark and no bite. There's no rush to move things along faster than is necessary. You can slow down and rest assured that you aren't missing out. Don't feel pressured to go out when you don't feel like it, or say yes to an opportunity just because it's available. The whole world doesn't need to be famous or rich or eccentric or living life in the fast lane. No lifestyle is bad or wrong as long as it fulfills your needs. And it does kind of go in a lot with pile 1. If you had, like, the necessity of having things doesn't need to be so high on your list, right? It's about the simple life. All right, so let's get a little look at our tarot. So we have 3 of Summer, news worth celebrating, announcements such as weddings, graduations, or births, friends you cherish, and children or childhood. This is 6 of Summer. The return of people or romances from your past, remembering events differently in a better or worse light than how they really occurred. Most of the time, like, reminiscing is about seeing things in a rose-colored way, but it also could be you diving into your past. And so let's say that you are with a therapist this month, which would be a really wonderful thing. And in therapy, something of the past comes out. And then you sort of, when you're talking about it, it almost is diffused as you speak it. And you realize this was something that was so big and so painful, or so mattered so much. But now when you're talking about it, it doesn't seem as bad as it did before. So those are some good ways of healing when something like that happens. When you're dealing with childhood things or therapy of some sort, therapy can be a really good way of letting things out in the open, in the sunlight, and they almost shrink a little and not seem quite as significant, especially in a big picture kind of way. Yeah, I also heard a message about, like, group therapy too. And one person's perspective can be so different from yours, for example. And you think, wow, you saw it that way. That's so weird. I was always seeing it this way. So it's kind of a nice thing to hear a multiple points of view. Also, so far, both of these together could represent babies coming or, pregnancies and things like that. Same with the sun tea. And sun tea could be a good nutrient to help amplify and nurture this energy. You also have the 10 of summer. Well, definitely good news is on the way and a new swing upwards in all areas of your life, especially money. This is an emotionally filling life with family or friends, raising children wisely, and people you can trust. And, I do have a friend out there that sometimes the thought of motherhood or parenting can be intimidating because of, your own life situation of how things happened with you. So a lot of times we're afraid to become parents because of the parents that we had, and it doesn't, in other words, there's a couple things that's true that you can take from that. One is you're not your parents, for one thing. Two, you already have a lot of awareness just by asking the question. Three, you can break the cycle if there was such a cycle that needs to be broken. Four, it's a perspective issue as well. Like a lot of times as a child, the way you see your parent is very different than if you are a parent as well. So suddenly you become a parent and then you see your parents and you're like, oh, now I get it. Now I know how hard this is and how challenging, but how you tried your very best without any instructions, whatever. So sometimes your perspective changes when it doesn't always have to be when you become a parent, but also when you just see your parents in a certain light. And most parents, I feel like, try their very best to be the best that they can be, but it's, they don't always know if they're doing it right or what they should be doing. So as long as people are leading with love, then I think that's the right direction. And this kind of makes me feel, the sun tea makes me feel like simplifying things in your life, seeing yourself as nurturing, seeing yourself in your true light, and clears this way for this ability to have children if you want them. And it seems like you will. Like the 10 of summer is kind of like a guarantee you're going to have a happy family. So whether you're looking to add to your family, to have children, or to level up the energy you already have within your own family, to create more of a stability and a positive outlook and positive future, it looks like there's a celebration here. And also, by the way, happy birthday, June babies. My son is in June, and my nephew and my brother. A lot of important people in my life have June birthdays, so I hope you have a beautiful month if you have a birthday in June. And also graduations and proms and all kinds of stuff sometimes happen in June. Maybe they're mostly end of May, but definitely weddings too. A lot of that's coming up. So I feel like a very celebratory time, and these celebrations often bring families back together again. So there could be some healing on those fronts as well. And if this is a love thing, let's see, because it could be an old love coming back to your life maybe, or somebody that just seems so familiar, like I know you somehow. Let's see who this could be. So your love language is gift giving. This is tokens of reciprocity, hold, cherish memories. See, memories. So there could be like somebody that gave you something and you like, I never threw that out. For some reason I always kept that on my shelf or something like that. Or something that tie you together with this person, some kind of memory or childhood memory even. It doesn't have to be an object or a pet or anything like that, but it could be something that ties you together with somebody and you remember them. All right, let's see what your fairy message is. You have let go. As you surrender the need to control, your relaxed energy rapidly attracts your desires. So whatever you're wanting for this month, there's a need to let go of kind of the urgency, or this kind of need to be the one to micromanage it. In other words, like, don't have to be the micromanager. In other words, you're supposed to let the universe take charge a little bit, and your desires truly are going to come true. There seems no doubt about it to me with the 3 and the 10 of summer. And let's see what your fairy forecast says. You have embark. So you're ready to take some kind of journey. The embark is all about being fearless, but fear is not, courage, let's say, is not an act without fear. It's, you'll have the fear, but you'll do it anyway. But it doesn't have to be anything scary. It could be something wonderful. So we do have we have a boat here and a boat here. I feel like in water here, it could be water energy. It could be travel. It could be going on a journey with a special friend or a lover, or overseas or long distance, going the distance together. It could be a literal, like, romantic canoe or gondola ride. It could be just a beautiful transition into learning more about yourself and each other through a particular journey that you're on, a romantic journey of sorts. It's interesting. I was watching Kino's reading, and I chose the pile 2, and it turns out that had a lot of travel in it too. So June could definitely be a month of travel. Even if you, right at this moment, you didn't make any plans yet, there could be some kind of surprise friend group saying, hey, come with us. And you're like, oh, I don't know, I didn't have enough saved up. That's okay. It's all paid for, and I'll take care of it because you're my daughter, or you're my son, or we're family, or whatever. Like, it feels a little bit. Maybe it feels a little sudden, and maybe you don't feel like you're truly prepared. But then at the same time, you have an amazing family, and everything will be taken care of. And then there's this really joyful energy that surrounds you. And so it could be metaphorically like you're taking a journey, especially with family in your life, that's going somewhere very beautiful and blessed. All right, and I feel like I need one more Litha message, and this one is popping out at the top. And the only reason why I'm getting this is because we have sun tea and lemonade, and so I'm like, yeah, I think I need what is it? Roger Palmer, one of the that mix of tea and lemonade when you drink a certain drink, and it could be very refreshing. So both tea and lemonade, very refreshing in the summer. So lemonade is saying, make the most of your situation by opening your mind to new possibilities. So yes, turning lemons into lemonade. And honestly, I happen to kind of like the taste of lemons, so it wouldn't be a difficult thing for me to just enjoy the lemon on its own. But making lemonade is really good. And then on top of that, mixing it with tea could be quite tasty, especially if it's one of these sun teas with all of these fruits in it. In fact, if you put mostly lemon in your sun tea, then you have already this kind of flavor. So the key words are making the best of things and silver linings. I feel like basically, I feel like the whole month is going to be a pretty good month, and it's a bit of a journey. And then towards the end, or maybe Litha, the 21st, for Northern Hemisphere, I feel like you're going to get a bit of a cherry on top kind of energy, like a silver lining, like all of this and this, And so We all know the phrase that when life hands you lemonade, you should make lemonade. It's a colorful way of telling you to make the best of a bad situation. Sure, lemons may not be very sweet, but that doesn't mean they're worthless. I like them. Many of the world's best creations were born out of sorrow, frustration, and broken hearts. The need to make the most out of every little opens your mind, forcing you to consider what else is available to you now. I often say this to people that it's like where the music, the blues, how did the blues come out? Well, they came out from being blue, like being sad. And instead of just being sad, somebody took their sadness and said, I'm turning this into a song, and I'm just gonna like really like let it out through my music, through the lyrics, and that kind of thing touches other people who are going through similar stuff. And then suddenly you've created something that's beautiful and almost uplifting through like this, going through this process of difficulty, you know. And so that's how I think a lot of times we can see life. Like, and Pumpkin just jumped on my lap, so she's all about the love and making lemonade out of lemons. So anyway, there's definitely times in life where things don't work out the way you hope, and you may have like, oh, it could have been like this, it could have gone this way, what ifs. But you know, the grief is fine and it happens, and you should process it. Don't ever push it away too fast before you can go through the grief. But at the same time, don't allow it to root. You know, this is the time to regroup and channel your energy into something positive. And I feel like that's what's going to happen for you. So if you're sort of at a stage right now like this, or towards the early part of June, or if you kind of have little ups and downs throughout June like this, these low points are only there as a little reminder that it'll be sunny the next day. But honestly, I feel like the general energy here is very, very strong for positivity and celebration and good vibes. The any time that you may dip down into the lemon area, you may just see those lemons and like, nope, I'm making lemonade out of this, because you know what? I can. I can. I could just set it out in the sun and it'll get very sweet, and you know, and I continue with my good energy. So if you are seeking like therapy, or you have people that you trust and talk to, like in your family, those could be great ways to get you out of that low spot, low point, and into those better feeling energies. All right, so let's see what your charms have to say. I'm going to take from this little, all right. You too are getting a magic carpet ride, so definitely big travel energy for everybody here. We got this cute little blue ducky, so time in water and bath time, and you know, like soaking time. Here's an interesting couple. We've got Belle and Aladdin. So I feel like there's a couple here that there could be this person who, Aladdin, bless his heart, he goes through a very strong character arc and maybe has issues with his self-worth, and he feels like in order to get any kind of attention, he has to be a prince or whatever. And Belle just loves unconditionally with her heart wide open, just as you are. And she sees past those things, but he's still not getting it. He's still not quite getting that she loves him despite everything, you know, and that there is no worth issues. He is a pure heart. He risked, you know, hurting, you know, getting himself caught or in trouble just to help somebody out with a piece of bread. That's the kind of, now that is worth. That kind of worth is more valuable than having money as a prince or a king. And Belle sees that and understands it and knows that. And so she's a good influence on him. And eventually together they will, you know, they will uplift each other. But I think also Belle could maybe be a little bit on the serious side and maybe not as adventurous as she wants to be, and Aladdin swoops in and helps her with that. Maybe she's a lot like Rapunzel and stays indoors a little bit too much. And so the tower could represent, but the tower can also represent locations, but the tower can also represent self-imposed imprisonment. So Rapunzel herself, especially in the Tangled version of the story, she rescues her own self. And I think that's what happens here. Like, as the feminine, however you want to see yourself, as the feminine or the masculine, there's somebody who's rescuing themselves and somebody who's being a great support. But that supportive person also has things that they have to heal as well. They have to heal their self-worth. And so it's two people who have things that they're working on, but they make a really great connection. And it could be somebody that you already know from the past, or it could be somebody new coming in your life that feels so familiar, like you've known them in a past life. All right? And of course I have to talk about the romance, because I am the romantic fairy. So let's move on to pile number 2, and you're welcome to join me if you like. Please give it a thumbs up and feel free to comment below and subscribe if you're new. And if you're not new, thank you so much for coming back, and thank everybody for your beautiful patience and love and kindness and prayers and understanding. And I'm moving on to pile number 3. And here is pile number 3 with the Desert Rose. Allez, allez. Allez, allez. Desert Rose. There we go. It's all cracked. All right, before we get into our little pile right here, I'm going to shuffle from the Seasons of the Witch Litha Oracle Live Shuffle and get a special card. Ooh, we have Lightworker here. You know what? I'm just going to take Lightworker. All right, it just feels it's calling me. So Lightworker. Okay, I'm going to shuffle a second one too. I'm going to put it to the side, whatever the second one is. It'll be like secrets. This is the one. Nothing else is coming out. Okay, there you go. Well, that's the one. Okay. Very nice, very nice. Okay, I see another one, and we'll address it when the time comes. All right, so the Lightworker is about the transmutation of shadow is needed when seeking the light that guides you. That's what this says. Isn't that pretty? I love how this deck is so full of yellows, golden yellows. So the keywords are soul alignment, following passions, and transmuting shadow. And that really, really ties in all 3 piles now. If you have come from pile 1 and watched all of these, especially consecutively, I feel like this is a really good ending to the 3 cards that came out that seem to tie in very nicely. So when a light creates a shadow, notice how the light doesn't dim in response. It continues to shine even though the shadow is there. So, I mean, we have examples just right here. You see how the light shines and the shadows comes from the card hitting the light hitting the card. Light. So anyway, it continues to shine even though the shadow's there, and the looming, and that shadow's always like looming in the background or in the foreground depending on how the light is hitting, right? The light cannot avoid shadows any more than you can avoid people who are mean, rude, unsupportive, or lacking vision. Shining your light doesn't mean everyone will love you. It means you're turning on your light so that people who can and will love you in the way that you need to be loved can find you. Shining your light doesn't take much, simply a commitment to follow your passions and embrace the things that bring you joy, excitement, and a sense of wonder. Your soul falls into alignment a little bit more every time you follow what's in your heart. There's no need to fear the hows, the whys, the what ifs. If a desire has made its way to you, it's because Spirit has already given it to you and is waiting for you to receive the gift. The right people, the place, the opportunities will seek you out, providing you with the necessary resources to achieve your dreams. When you listen carefully, your soul will tell you who is right and who is wrong, who can support you and who cannot. Don't worry about the shadows in the background. They can yell and intimidate, stare and complain, but they do not have the power to stop your light from shining. There's a quote by Iyanla van Zandt that says, "You don't get to tell people how to love you. You get to choose if you want to participate in the way they love." Interesting. That's interesting side note right there about love. Okay, let's see what your tarot has to say. So you have Seven of Summer. Look at the rainbow. No more procrastinating. Your power comes from making a decision. Confusion that arises from over-analyzing the options. So you will have lots of choices this summer, and it's important to just make a thoughtful choice, of course. Maybe not an impulsive one, but definitely make a choice. Don't think about it too much. And then you have the Princess of Summer, who's gentle, sensitive, kind, and experienced. This could represent you or somebody that you know. This could also represent a relationship. At this time of the day, the lighting is making it difficult for it to zoom. Let's see. To sharpen. A new relationship or an emotional experience. Invitations to social events. A compassionate friend you can share your concerns with. So this could be a person or something to do with events of this summer happening. And it could be tied into pile 1 or 2. We also talked a little bit about events in those piles. Then we have the Nine of Summer. Wishes come true. Dreams are fulfilled. A magical time of life. This is like fairy godmother time. Even when you feel like things are not going your way, suddenly magic happens and things line up to make your moment more beautiful, more special than you can imagine. And so the 3 of these cards kind of go together in a way that a new person or a new you is coming through. The things that you're wishing for is coming through. Procrastinating is not going to help you get to your dreams any faster. Things will come to you, but you also have to participate and make choices as well. So let's see what your message is from the fairies. You have healing, healed, and healer. So you're a little bit of all 3. You've done some healing. Maybe some of you have actually completed some healing, and now you feel healed. You feel like you're in a better space. And you also have healing energy that's around you and the situation. So your situation's improving and being healed. And also you have the power to help others by your energy and your healing abilities. So that's beautiful as well. And then we have waves. I love this one. So one of the things that you can do this summer to really feel good, and it could be because the waves fell under the healing card, is that going out in water, especially like ocean water, can be, or salt water, can be very healing for you. Waves sometimes can be overwhelming and knock you off your feet, but these beautiful waves here, they're all like waves that are shaped like fairy shapes. I know. It's really cool artwork. These represent sunlit swells that are full of joy, like a surge of pure happiness that fills you up, like riding the wave. The waves crest and swell like the waters of love and emotion. And it could be like a temporary energy and also a sudden burst of happy change. So I feel like in a romantic sense, this could be like a Cinderella moment where the fairy godmother comes down, puts you in a beautiful dress, you're off to the ball, you meet the wonderful guy, but then the clock strikes 12, and it's like it's a moment. It's a great start because it's like hey, you met the prince, all these things weren't aligned, but now the rest is up to you. Like the fairy godmother put you in this position to meet your person or to give you this gift or give you the resources. Now you have to make sure you know how to use them. So Cinderella, after she runs away and everything changes back, and she's holding on to her shoe in remembrance of the night, she's grateful. She has gratitude. She's sitting there in a bunch of, like, a pile of dirt with a pumpkin and some mice running around her, and she's saying thank you. And that just goes to show you, you can have gratitude in all situations. And then she moves with that gratitude in a happy, blissful state, which also gives her away, which causes jealousy, of course. We can't control the jealousy of others, but we can always be our best selves. And so and in the end, the happily ever after comes through for you because you stay true to who you are. And so, yes, so we know the story. But anyway, speaking of romantic stories, let's see what our romance fairy has to say. So we have love language, acts of service. Actions speak louder than words. So there is a person here who may also be good with words, but specifically is good with their actions. The way they show you they care is proof in the pudding, proof that they really do care. And so now, interestingly enough, the extra card that came out was Cancer. And June, at the end of June, is Cancer season. The summer solstice starts on the 21st in the northern hemisphere, and Cancer begins just a little bit after that. And so I feel like a lot of times these readings for the month have two energies or maybe three energies: the beginning, middle, and end of the month, or the beginning and the end of the month. And so the beginning of the month could be a certain way, but by summer solstice and end of the month, we're moving into this a very kind of Cinderella-like energy, like you're getting your wishes coming true. And Cancer is saying, call yourself back from all space and time to feel, sense, and reflect on the oceans of your presence within. And maybe a person that you're connecting with is Cancer, or maybe you're Cancer. There's some Cancer in either of your charts. And so it's a beautiful sign, and it's also representing connecting with the mother energy and family and water. Like, water energy is going to be very healing and helpful. The key words here are inner self, emotional wellness, and boundaries. So, how are you doing? That is the question to ask yourself when Cancer sun sign cards appear in your reading, and also when you're moving into Cancer season or before. When was the last time you took a moment to check in with yourself, listen to your internal landscape, and support your emotional needs? Cancer's mission is to teach you how to find your own little corner of the world where you can retreat to replenish your energy. It reminds you of the power of self-care and that your emotions can be potent allies when you take the time to listen rather than trying to suppress them. Your emotions may offer you a deeper understanding about how and when you need to establish better boundaries, bring light to feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, guide you into the things that bring you happiness, or steer you away from that stuff that steals your joy. Every emotion has something to teach, and yours have been seeking an audience with you Ask your emotions plainly. Hey, you emotions, what are you trying to tell me? And then listen carefully because the answer may surprise you. If you're reading about someone else, this or if you're watching this reading for yourself, but you're think but this like cluing you into someone else, because sometimes that often does. Sometimes when we stumble upon a pile, we're like, this pile sounds like my boyfriend, or this pile sounds like how, he's been acting towards me, or whatever. Or somebody, doesn't have to be boy, girl, mother, father, anybody, platonic, romantic, doesn't matter, but it could clue you into feelings of somebody else. And or it could be to like, coworkers or employees or children, people that are highly connected with. So if that's true, maybe they just need a little additional support here. So a traveling self-scan practice is this. On a daily basis, I guess, kind of thing. This is a check-in with yourself in which you can focus on emotions that are often left hidden or ignored. Find a quiet space for some personal time to be with yourself and sit or lay down with your eyes closed. Place one hand over your heart space and move your focus to your heart space, and then a deep breath. Calm your mind, and when you're ready to say, emotions within, come forth one at a time. Take another deep breath, settle into yourself, and ask, who wants to go first? And allow your emotions to present themselves to you and witness how they show up and where they dwell in your body. You are not here to address them. You are here to acknowledge them and witness where they live and where they need to liberate you from them. Breathe slowly and stay calm. You are here to show compassion, not only to your emotions but to yourself as well. Stay in this space as long as needed, or pause and return later if it gets overwhelming. This practice is excellent for seeing where you need to focus on self-healing or to address with someone such as a therapist, a spiritual teacher, friend, or family member who you trust and may guide you. And if you feel like you are the healer, see, we have the healing and the healed. If you find like certain practices have healed you or helped you, then you now can turn into the healer and help them with your newfound knowledge. All right, let's see what our charms have to say. Just using my Disney charms. The Disney Plus baby. Okay, you got an uncle here. Maybe there's an uncle who cares about you. You have Kay. You have a castle. You could be moving, or this could also represent like this happily ever after that's coming, like a move and a up leveling. You have Belle, which is so good because Belle is unconditional love, and it's like moving into, any room that you walk into, you approach it with love. And then you have Jack Skellington. So this could also be a couple, like a Jack Skellington type of person who has a strong character arc as well. Aladdin came out in another reading, and I think of him as a very strong character who had to learn a very important lesson about his self-worth. And Jack is similar because he has a wanderlust about him, similar to Belle. Like they both want to be somewhere else, somewhere in the great wide somewhere in the adventure. There's something more. But Jack is his reason is not being satisfied with who he is. He has a certain purpose, but he feels like maybe there's something else for him. And Belle is more of an adventurous type, and she knows that she doesn't really always fit into the society that she is, that in her environment. And so there could be a part of her that likes to escape because she doesn't feel like she fits in. And it's not important to fit in, right? What's important is to be true to yourself. And so Belle, because she knows about that, she always approaches everybody with a very open mind and an open heart. And this could be two people who have their own challenges, but with Belle around, there's always a chance for healing because she's so good about the unconditional and being open and receptive and loving and giving and kind. But it's important not to take advantage of that. And Jack Skellington has a bit of a self-centered nature about him. You can tell, at least in the beginning of his story, the way he sort of dismisses Sally, and it's all about him and his difficulties or his challenges or his excitements. He's very diva-like, you know. But eventually it comes around full circle. He realizes the support of other people are important to him, you know, and it's not just all about him all the time. But, you know, those are stories, and sometimes it takes a way longer than 2 hours for some kind of cure to happen in your life. It takes a long time, you know. Sometimes we are expecting things to happen a lot faster than they actually do. But realize that your dreams can come true, you know. I feel like this reading is specifically about taking some action and not giving it all up to chance, but also knowing your own worth and your own abilities, but not being afraid to ask for help when you need help from others, using water elements as a healing situation, connecting with people who are like you too, and seeing the commonality even in a person who seems like your opposite. There could be lots of things that you have in common and that are similar. And never close up your heart. Always keep your heart open, because even in painful situations, that open heart actually can get you through it a lot easier. It's closing it and resisting change that causes more pain. But keeping an open heart and a positive mindset allows for yourself to flow with the change a little bit easier and to be more accepting and adaptable for the next thing that comes into your life. And so I feel like the ducky basically represents water and having water fun. It could be a water park that looks like a beautiful Disney castle. And K also could represent like king, you know, or somebody like that. And maybe, you know, they're like, first, if you're interested in a man, there could be a man coming into your life that might remind you of your uncle or something like that. Somebody who, you know, a kind person in your life, in other words. The reason why I say that is I'm thinking of my Uncle Jerry, who's like the most wonderful, like one of the best men I've ever known in my life. He's awesome. And yeah, if a man came in my life that was like my Uncle Jerry, I would be very, very happy about that. He's a very decent, kind person. In fact, my neighbor's a lot like him, and he has been very helpful, he and his wife. It's just funny how people from just everywhere just can turn out to be more supportive than you realize. So keep your heart open and you'll see all of this light is coming through and all of this support. And like these acts of service, you see, like from people, specifically too from a loved one, a person you're interested in, but also from all kinds of family and friends and other people around you. All right, so I hope you like that. Thumbs up if you like that. Feel free to comment below. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. But if you're not, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you as part of my Sparkles of Light. Definitely join me on my lives. I'm going to get back into the swing of things, I hope. You know, my life has been a little bit funny these days, and it's been interesting. Let's just put it that way. But I do think I'll have time to go live tonight, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm making a plan for that. So I'll see you guys later. Faith, trust, and pixie dust.